What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and a stimulus check update. Congress has reached a deal to separate a new package here, and we have a couple different things going forward. We're going to jump right in because there's a lot going on here right now. Um, First, we'll start with this one. Check this out.
A deal has apparently been reached to separate COVID funding from President Biden's new multi-billion-dollar aid request for Ukraine. I want to bring in Sahil Kapoor, who is with us now from the Hill. So, Sahil, this is just into us now, and this is a move that I think had been some folks on the Hill had wanted to see. Talk us through it.
That's right, Hallie. Congress appears to have just cleared a path to passage for President Biden's massive Ukraine aid package. Now, recall, this had been jammed up over the last couple of weeks because congressional leaders wanted to attach COVID relief funding, which Republicans in the Senate had promised to filibuster over demands of an immigration amendment. The entire package had been stalled, but now congressional sources tell our colleagues Frank Thorpe and Julie Sirkin that the president has communicated to congressional leaders that he wants the Ukraine package to pass separately. That would clear a path. It has broad bipartisan support in the House, where it's likely to originate, as well as the Senate. And the second bit of news, it has grown. It was initially $33 billion. It is now nearly $40 billion, with the increases coming on about $3.5 billion for food aid and another $3.5 billion for additional drawdown authority for military equipment. A major piece of President Biden's domestic ask of Congress right now has a path forward.
Yeah, so this is kind of one of the couple different things going on here as they're trying to pass funding for COVID, funding for Ukraine as Putin's war machine just continues to onslaught the country of Ukraine over there with no signs of stopping at all. And just how long that is going to continue to go on is just unfortunate. And the longer that goes on, the longer gas prices stay high, food prices stay high, and the threat of nuclear war continues as well. So just it seems exhausting. And imagine how exhausting it is for Ukraine. Yeah. And then we also have a major headline here. Senator Joe Manchin says that he'd pass parts of Biden's agenda, but Democrats may have to write the bill for him. People familiar with Senator Joe Manchin's thinking say party leaders are making a mistake by waiting for him to pen his own detailed bill rather than crafting one based on his demands. And you can let me know your thoughts here. Here are the details of this. Senator Joe Manchin says he's still interested in passing major pieces of President Joe Biden's agenda, but sources close to Senator Joe Manchin say Democrats may be making a big mistake by waiting for him to lay out precisely what he'd support. Manchin has expressed interest in passing a bill through the filibuster-proof reconciliation process, where you only need 50 votes to pass the bill in the Senate instead of 60, the normal process. But remember that they did pass that $1,400 third stimulus check package and the child tax credits with Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema's vote. But the next one has been kind of delayed, definitely delayed. That this next one would raise taxes, reduce the deficit, cut prescription drug costs, fund energy and climate measures, etc., even though some Democrats fear he is running out the clock, at least until this election. And then whatever happens after this election, well, we would have to see. He also began leading bipartisan talks on energy over the last 2 weeks, prompting worries among Democrats that he's losing interest in a party line bill to pass major climate policies. And remember, he has that self conflicting um, coal mine that he owns an interest of in, which is a very, the New York Times is exposing that story where he's making millions of dollars on. Yeah. I did a video on that. But sources close to Manchin believe Democrats are making an error by passively waiting for him to craft his own detailed legislation, which many believe in the party have grumbled he should do ever since he rejected Biden's Build Back Better plan in December. People familiar with Manchin's thinking say he has repeatedly laid out his demands in public, but that he's unlikely to put pen to paper to write a reconciliation bill, and that that's a job for Democratic leaders, which apparently he is not. Quote, the best approach would be for the White House to come up with a plan, get his approval, and then hand it off to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, quote, to keep everybody in line, said a person familiar with Manchin's thinking who requested to remain anonymous. He's not going to write a partisan bill. That's not who he is. The source of the White House, they want it more than he does. Schumer, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, met recently with Manchin behind closed doors in what was billed as a conversation about combating inflation. Chuck Schumer says the meeting was preliminary and good, and we're going to continue to keep talking. The only way to get rid of inflation is through the reconciliation process because, quote, no Republican is willing to raise taxes. I mean, the money's gotta come from somewhere. Democrats want to raise taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals making over $400,000. Some Democrats say negotiations should be quiet. Quote, I think we would do better to not announce what we think we're going to accomplish and just go ahead and accomplish it. Yeah, I understand. Biden gave a speech Wednesday about reviving his agenda that appears designed for Manchin's ears, naming a deficit reduction, drug prices, and climate change as the basis for a potential bill. So we will have to see if Senator Joe Manchin and the Democrats can get a reconciliation bill done, what can be in it, what they can get done with it. Also, if they can get anything done with the Democrats, or I'm sorry, with the Republicans, Senator Joe Manchin has been trying to work with the Republicans. There's also been Republican support for things like the child tax credits. Republican Senator Mitt Romney has came forward with a child tax credit plan of his own, supported by other Republicans as well. That would be $3,000 per child for children 6 through 17 and $4,200 per child for children under the age of 6. So that would be $250 per month for children above the age of 6 and $350 per child for children under the age of 6. So it would actually be more money for children under the age of 6. And this does have Republican support. And this is important because the child tax credits have been paused right now. And millions of children have fallen back into poverty just from the first month of the child tax credits not going out back in January. You can see here, this is an article back from February. 3.7 million children fell into poverty from the first month of the child tax credit payments not going out. Yeah, so imagine if the Social Security payments all of a sudden started not going out. Imagine if SSI payments, or disability payments not going out. And this is the effect of the child tax credit payments not going out. Like they did so much so good for millions of children living in poverty. And now Congress can't get it together and can't pass them now. And the thing is that the problem with the Republican point of view from what the Democrats want is the Republican point of view is they want to put a work requirement on it, and so does Joe Manchin. But that would exclude anybody on Social Security if they don't have any other income requirements. Okay, because that is not considered um, earned income, even though you worked, your whole life to get Social Security. And the problem here is that you can see here Joe Manchin, who's a Democrat, he's the only Democrat senator and even House representative that I know that says he reiterates that he won't support an enhanced child tax credit without a work requirement. Okay. The problem here with this, you can see this other article here, is that Joe Manchin's child tax credit changes could prevent more than 37 million children from getting aid. Now, I get the argument that people should go to work if they're able-bodied. I get that, but what about all the grandmas and grandpas that are taking care of children? Those children would not get the payments because grandmas and grandpas that are retired would not get the payments because they're on Social Security, and unless they all of a sudden go back to work, those children wouldn't get the payments. People on disability would not get the payments. People on SSI, SSDI would not get the payments. So you can see the headline here directly from NBC saying that Joe Manchin's child tax credit changes could prevent more than 37 million children from getting aid. And there's only, I believe, a little bit over 60 million children that currently get the child tax credit. So they're talking about excluding more than half of the children from getting the child tax credits. So that's the problem I see, is that I wouldn't want 37 million children to not get the support, not get the child tax credits. I mean, think about all those children that would be living in poverty. I mean, that I wouldn't want to have that on my conscience. I wouldn't want to do that. And a recent study shows that the majority of that money, over half of that money, goes to food, and a lot of that money goes towards rent, to paying the rent payment and car payments for transportation and stuff. So, um, yeah, that's the problem here with this, is that I get saying, oh, go to work. Yeah, if you're an able-bodied person, you're a regular person. I get it, right? And really, it's $250 to $300 per month per child. It's not like it's a life changing amount of money. It's enough money for some food, right? Or to help pay your rent. It's not. Yeah, I get it. And really, I'd like to see the same thing for senior citizens and for Social Security recipients. And we really like to see the same thing, because they're being affected just as much, or well, just as much as children, because children really can't work, um, unless they're a teenager. But really, same thing. You think about how bad the inflation is going on here with the with food prices, gas prices. Food prices are at the highest they have ever been, and we do have the Social Security 2100 Act and the other bill that has been introduced by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders to raise Social Security benefits by at least $200 per month. They're two different bills. I just did a recent video on that, but I'll link you to that video here. You can watch it next. But really, several different bills here that could provide a lot of benefits. Yeah, and I really think that we need a lot, because we look at inflation right now. It's really just eating away at a lot of a lot of people's, just savings, a lot of people's money that's coming in. And we look at the 5.9% cost of living adjustment that came through last year, and inflation is going to be even larger this year. Inflation is going to be even larger this year. And for a lot of people, the SNAP benefits, the food benefits are getting taken away because of that. And really, Congress needs to make a change with that, so that people's SNAP benefits and food benefits don't get taken away. And the president has announced that they have an upcoming food SNAP and food stamp conference here coming up in a few months, the first time in 50 years since since they actually created the SNAP and food stamp program. So they're probably or possibly going to be overhauling that program. So I think that's going to be really good. I think that could significantly raise those benefits. So I will keep you up to date here with all of these different things here on our channel. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. After subscribing, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as we go live, which is 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest video next. This bottom video is about the Social Security raises, the Social Security 2100 Act. And this video here is my newest video on stimulus checks here. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.